Well, we're back again, me and Sweet Pip, and we're going to be looking at the newly released Blu-ray of Vanilla Sky.
Had ordered this just over a year ago, pre-ordered it, and then it was delayed and delayed and delayed multiple times. But finally we have it here, and was it worth the wait? Well, yes, I think so. Overall, but we're going to talk about all of the issues around this release, comparing it to the DVD and so forth. So first of all, here's the cover. Some people have really not liked the cover, preferring the original covers and some of the original poster artwork. I actually think it looks kind of classy. The back is pretty standard, and the inside is got nothing other than the disc there. So, first of all, the film. For those not familiar with it, it is a remake of a Spanish film called Open Your Eyes, which also starred Penelope Cruz. And this is what Cameron Crowe, director of films such as Almost Famous Jerry Maguire, calls his cover version of that film. But essentially, it's a remake. But I think this is a... while Open Your Eyes was very good, I prefer the casting in this film. I prefer Tom Cruise in the lead role. I prefer Cameron Diaz probably in the role of her life. Probably the best casting of Cameron Diaz. And because I'm not really a fan of hers. Jason Lee is also excellent. Kurt Russell is good. And it's a much fuller, richer version. Obviously he had a lot more money to spend and hindsight on looking at the original film, but I think it's a better movie. A lot of people prefer the original. Sometimes I wonder if that's just preferring the original for original's sake, or... and history shows a lot of times the original is better, but in this case, I think the remake is the superior film. It's a sort of very twisted thriller, romance, sci-fi leanings, and a very good film. I'm not going to give away too much for those who haven't seen it, though. This version, the DVD looked great. I had it a long time ago. I sold it pretty much as soon as Blu-ray came along because I thought this would be a film that would be ripe for a Blu-ray transfer, but little did I know it was going to take years and years and years. Not unlike Munich. It's another one that I sold my DVD of early on and waited for a long time until earlier this year to get it. But now we have it. People were thinking with the delays we might be getting a nice 4K scan or an all-new image. It got released in Germany a few months prior to this release, and people were not ecstatic about the transfer. This is essentially using the same elements that Paramount have provided. Warner Brothers have gone and tweaked it a little, and from what I could tell from the screen caps of the German release and looking at this, I think this does look superior. It certainly looks quite good in motion. It is a little juddery at times on some of the sweeping shots, and there is some scenes that are soft, but on the whole I think it looks very filmic, very nice, and I was very pleased. I know that the DVD, while excellent, if it was spread across a 50 or 60 inch screen like we have here, it would be starting to look pretty thin. This has a really naturalistic look. Everything looks, the colors look great, so I'm impressed with that. The sound is great. It's a 5.1 DTS HD, and it sounds great in the surround. It's very strong. You also have 5.1 in Spanish and French, and Dolby Digital for both those, and that's for the original theatrical version only, and subtitles in English for the hard of hearing, and French and Spanish. Now the quality of there is an alternate ending version, which I think is Cameron Crowe's possibly his preferred ending. It's not that much different than the ending you saw in the theaters. It just tweaks a few things, expands on a few things, changes a few things up. It gives us slightly different possibilities to think about. The footage they've got looks like they've managed to get it from a standard definition and maybe upscaled it, or a poor copy print that they haven't been able to remaster to quite the level of the film. It's a noticeable drop. Unfortunately, whilst the alternative footage only is already in the last 5-10 minutes, they start the alternative footage, well, as far as I can tell anyway, from memory, they drop in the new footage about 10 minutes even before that, so that the last 20 minutes of the alternate ending version is in this not as good looking version. But it's perfectly watchable. I think people would just be happy to see it. Now, the DVD had some great special features which have been transferred over. There's a commentary with Cameron Crowe and Nancy Wilson. There's 12 alternate scenes with a commentary by director Cameron Crowe. There's 2 new featurettes. There's a mask test and a Kurt Russell single take, which I haven't watched either of yet, but I will get to, as I'm a big fan of special features. There's a photo gallery with audio introduction by photographer Neil Person, an interview with Paul McCartney, music video, and there's the original featurettes from the DVD, which one of them is a more standard making of, and the other one is a really great one showing Cameron Crowe and Penelope Cruz and Tom Cruise on the road doing the press for the film, red carpets around the world, and it's really quite interesting viewing. It's probably one of my favourite features, full stop. So definitely worth checking. There's also a gag reel and a bunch of other little bits and pieces. So it's stacked viewing, brings a lot to the table. I'm happy with the transfer. Some people were hoping for more, but I think at the price point of about as cheap as you could possibly get for a brand new Blu-ray, around the $8 mark, and with all these alternate ending and new featurettes, an upgrade in picture and audio, I think it's a really good purchase that anyone should check out. And if you haven't seen the film, just blind buy. It's so cheap, it's worth checking out. So Vanilla Sky, glad to have this back in the collection now in high def, and thanks for watching.